Hi, Facebook. Good morning. Thank you all so much for joining us and happy Thursday, even though it kind of feels like a Friday if y'all are like us and you have off tomorrow. But we're excited to have you here. All right, let me just do a sound check, make sure y'all can hear me. Can you hear me? Good? All right, awesome. So my name is Hanna B. I am the marketing manager here at Ugly Mug Marketing, and we had a lot of people ask for us to do more marketing presentations. So we did one last month, and this is going to be a repeat for those who weren't able to watch with us last month. So if you're here for the first time, we are super excited to have you, and let's get started. So let's say you're hosting a circus and you have the elephant walk on the tightrope. That is advertising. And then say you have the elephant walk through the town. That is publicity. And then say that that elephant walks through the mayor's flower garden and messes it all up. But you get the mayor to say, no big deal. I'm glad the elephant's here. I'm glad the circus is in town. Don't worry about it. That is public relations. And then when you get people to the circus and you start selling popcorn or carousel rides or whatever that might be, or those big giant inflatables that my nephews always want that cost a ridiculous amount of money, that is upselling. And then put it all together. If you planned the whole thing, that's marketing. So the definition that we use for marketing is the ability to attract and keep customers. And throughout this whole presentation, we will be explaining to you how to attract and keep customers. Like I already said, my name is Hanna B. I am the marketing manager here at Ugly Mug Marketing, and this is my cute little puppy. Her name is Ellie. So what we're going to be doing today is we read this book, I don't know, it's been a while now. It's called The One-Page Marketing Plan, and highly, highly recommend it. It tells you how to do this sheet that you see here is the one-page marketing plan. And it goes through these 9 different topics, and we're going to go through each of those topics today and kind of dive a little bit deeper into them. However, I highly recommend getting this book too. So if you want a free copy of this book, and I believe you probably will after you hear everything we're talking about today, you can comment below and let us know that you're watching, and we will randomly choose one winner to get a free copy. So let me go back a second. So you'll see right here, it says before, during, and after. So those are the little topics that we're going to go through. Before is if you're talking to like a prospect, they're not a customer yet. During, they're a lead. They're working on becoming a client, but they're not yet. And then after, they become a customer. So this is just kind of a snapshot of what we're going to go through. Before, we're going to talk about your target audience, your message to your target audience, and the media to use. During, how to get those leads, nurture your leads, and convert them into a client. And then after is you need to retain them to deliver world-class experience, increase their value, and orchestrate referrals. So natural progression, this is something that you'll hear us talk a lot about if you're one of our clients. And let's just kind of explain it first, and then you will see how this overlays perfectly into the one-page marketing plan. So think about any product that you've ever been a part of. So if we're going to say for Ugly Mug Marketing, say you don't know anything about Ugly Mug Marketing, which none of you watching that would apply to because you do, you're watching us right now. But if there's this random company that you know nothing about, then you're a complete stranger to the company. Then perhaps you become a friend of the company. So you're a friend if you know about the company, maybe you're a friend of Ugly Mug Marketing. We've never exchanged cash or exchanged any kind of customer client relationship, but you're a friend. You know about Ugly Mug Marketing, you watch our webinars, maybe you know where our office is, you talk to us at Tampa Grind, whatever that might be, you're a friend, but you're not yet a customer. Then a customer is when there's actually some kind of exchange, like you sign a contract and you become a client and that kind of stuff. Then from a customer to an evangelist is, so you can be a customer of a product. So I am a customer, of a lot of different things that I may get, but I'm not necessarily an evangelist of. I'm not going to talk passionately about. You're an evangelist for something that you are obsessed with and you tell all your friends about, even though you're not getting paid for it, and you just love it. So what that might be in your neck of the woods could be different. But for me, like, I love my AirPods. I was one of those people that said AirPods are stupid, like we don't need them. And then the second I got them, I'm like, okay, I was wrong. And I tell everybody, you need this and this is why. So I would be considered an evangelist of AirPods, not just a customer. Then if I tell my friend, you need AirPods and this is why, they immediately go from a stranger to a friend. They can skip that stranger stage, because if your friend is telling you something, you know it and you trust it and you believe it. That, you know, if you get an ad for something versus your friend telling you about it, like if your friend tells you about it, you're going to believe it a lot easier than if you just randomly see it on a billboard somewhere, because you already know and trust your friend. So if they tell you they recommend something, you get that. Whereas if it's just a random billboard, billboards still work, but it's going to take a little bit more frequency for that person to purchase something from you versus if their friend is telling you about it. So here's how this kind of overlaps in the one-page marketing plan. Before is when they're a stranger or a friend. The during is when they become a customer, and the after is when they are an evangelist and they are evangelizing for you and for your product. So where's the money? The money is obviously in the evangelist customer phase. So somebody can be your customer, maybe buy something from you once, and they're just a customer. But if they're evangelist and they are telling a bunch of people about your product and buying your product super frequently, then they're giving you a lot of money, because they are a repeat client and bringing new clients to you. The stranger, you ain't getting any money because they don't even know about you. And as a friend, you're still not getting any money, but you're a little bit warmer in their brain because you know a little bit more. They know more about you and they are more likely to trust you at that point. All right, so now we're going to go through those 9 different things. So the first one is target market. So this is a sheet that we highly recommend. If you would like a copy of it, just comment below, message us, email us, somehow or another, let me know that you want a copy of this and we will send it to you. This is a customer avatar. So, you know, let's say that you are target and you're trying to reach your target audience. So if you start just kind of filling this out. So obviously anybody and everybody can shop at Target and probably does shop at Target, but the majority of their sales come from a smaller niche of people. So this is not for anybody. You're not using this customer avatar to fill out everybody that shops at your store. You're the ones that are most frequent and you make the most money from. So if you are looking at Target, the age is probably 20, 30s, gender is primarily female, I would say. Marital status doesn't necessarily matter. You know, they can be either married or unmarried. Age or number of children doesn't matter either. Location for Target, it doesn't matter because they're nationwide. But say I was opening a female-only gym here in Alexandria. Well, their age is probably 20, 30. Their gender needs to be female because it's a female-only gym. Marital status doesn't matter. Age of children doesn't matter. Their location, they need to be here in Alexandria so that they can come to the gym. Their challenges, maybe they're struggling with their weight or their appearance or their pain points. Same thing, they want to get in shape or need somewhere to work out, or they want the camaraderie of other women. As far as like magazines, maybe they're reading a health and fitness magazine. Their annual income is going to be, you know, somewhere in the more middle range. Obviously, they have the income to where that they can pay for a gym membership, but they're not millionaires, because if they're a millionaire, you're going to get a personal trainer to come to your house and train you at the convenience of your own home. You're not going to go to a local gym. So just kind of go through these things for your customer. Again, I can send you this sheet and you can actually write it down, and it's super duper helpful. As far as messaging goes, so if you confuse, you lose. What do I mean by that? So you need to have one ad to one objective. So here's what we typically do. We typically say, hi, I'm Ugly Book Marketing. Here's my logo. We do websites, marketing, Facebook, social media, blah, 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 blah. We are the best ever. And you can get a free quote. Here's our contact details. That's too much information. That's going to overwhelm them. If you confuse, you lose. That's too much information. You're confusing them. So you need to be more specific. So tell them, why should they care? We're local. We're here to help you. We want to make you the best website ever. But be even more specific than that. If you want online sales and want to make it more convenient for your client, we're here to help. Super duper specific. So why should they care? This is Robin and Bridget with Ugly Mug Marketing. They are one of our clients. And whenever we did this video, it's been a while ago, but when we did this video, Robin and Bridget had never been on camera before on video. And so if somebody was scrolling through Facebook and they saw Robin and Bridget on Facebook, they're like, this must be important because they don't normally do this. And sure enough, they had, you can see over here, 21,000 views on this video alone. So it worked. So give them a reason to care. Give them a reason to stop in their tracks. All right, so here is a fun example. So talking about being super specific. So if I say, hey, there's an animal behind you, are you going to be scared or are you going to be excited? So if I just say animal, you have no idea. You could have my cute little puppy Ellie behind you and she's soft and cuddly and cute and not going to harm you. Or you could have a big polar bear or grizzly bear behind you or a tiger. That's going to scare you. A cute little dog isn't. So animal is not specific enough. It doesn't evoke emotion. We don't know how to feel if you just say there's an animal behind you. So what if you're in the ocean, if you're at the beach and you say, hey, there's a fish behind you? Again, okay, it's a little more specific. I know it's a fish, but I don't know if that fish is dangerous, if it's a little bitty minnow, or if it's a huge fish. I don't know. I don't know what emotion to evoke yet. But what if I say it's a piranha? You're going to freak out. So be more specific, as specific as physically possible to help evoke emotion in your client. People buy with emotion and justify with logic. So I don't know about y'all, but anytime you're maybe in a store or you get an ad for something, like the first thing is that emotion. Like, I like these earrings. Shout out to my cousin Taylor who made these cute earrings for me, but she posted a picture of them and I loved them. And so I immediately messaged her and said, hey, can you make me a pair? That's emotion. That's not logic. I'm not sitting there thinking, okay, there's these pink earrings. I can wear them here, here, and here, and thinking about all the details. I just say, hey, I like them. I want them. So you need to go to that emotion, not logic, with your ads. Media. So use the media your market consumes. So if I was running an ad to my grandparents who don't have Facebook or they're not on their phones, you know, as much as a millennial, I wouldn't want to run a social media Facebook ad or send them an email. I would want to do a TV ad or snail mail or maybe even radio, but I'm not going to do online advertising for someone who's not online very often. Same thing is true if you're trying to target a teenager. You're not going to advertise to them on the 6 p.m. news because I don't know very many teenagers watching the 6 p.m. news, but I know tons of teenagers on social media. And even more specifically, it's what social media that age group consumes. So Pinterest is super duper helpful for things that are like recipes. Maybe you're a blogger and you want more people to find your recipes. Like Pinterest is great for recipes. It's not great for, you know, some super high-end service that you may offer. Twitter is, again, it's less photo-based. So you're not going to want to try to sell, you know, a product with emotion and pictures on Twitter, but maybe you're just trying to explain something, then Twitter's better. Facebook, the average users are between 25 and 34. And then Instagram is, I don't think it's on here. Instagram is kind of that next age range. So it's like 30 to 40 is more Instagram. So again, if you have a specific age range you're trying to reach, Snapchat is even younger. My cousins all the time try to text message me, or my nephew too, and I wouldn't even, it's probably not even called, it's called Snap, huh? Not text messaging. If somebody's trying to reach me on Snapchat, it ain't happening. I'll see it eventually, but I don't check Snapchat daily. So if you want to reach a 12 to 24-year-old, Snapchat is where it's at. If you're trying to reach a 30-year-old, Instagram's where it's at. So it really depends on your product and your age range of your potential clients. And then LinkedIn is super business driven. So, you know, you're not going to share recipes on LinkedIn. But if you are trying to do like business to business sales, LinkedIn is perfect. Facebook we love because you can reach super specific things. So on TV and radio, yes, I generally know who's watching that station and who's watching certain TV shows, but I don't know super specifically. I can't go in and say target parents with kids from age 2 to 6. On Facebook, you can do that. Yeah, so that's what this ad is. Like I can specifically go in and say, I want to reach parents of 3 to 5-year-olds, or I want to reach newborn parents. So if you're selling newborn clothing, you want to reach those 0 to 12-month kids. Whereas if you're running a TV ad, so many people can see it who might love your product, but if they don't have a baby they can buy those clothes for, it's irrelevant. And then you can also be super specific in time. I don't know if this ever happens to y'all, but if you wake up in the middle of the night and it's like 4 a.m. and you can't sleep and you get on your phone, you very frequently will see ads about insomnia or that Calm app trying to help you go back to sleep. Like those people are doing that very specifically. They are running ads about people who have trouble sleeping in the middle of the night. Or if you are running an ad for a restaurant, you want to run, you know, lunchtime ads from like 10 to noon and dinner ads from like 3 to 7 or something like that. You know, if I see an ad for a local restaurant at 2 a.m., that ain't really going to help me because they're closed at that time. So it's really cool that you can specific certain time blocks. Of course, you can do that on radio too. You can say you want your ad to run in a certain time frame, but it's super duper easy on Facebook. And then you can also do certain areas. So, you know, if you have a restaurant, you obviously don't need your restaurant advertised to another state or even another city because they ain't coming all the way here to eat at your restaurant. Super duper helpful that you can do super specific areas. You can even go down to a 1 mile radius around a certain location. And then again, you can say, I have a pizza restaurant. I want to target people that like pizza. And so you can go in and click on all these different pizza restaurants, or maybe you have another product. You can go in. So say you are selling some kind of hunting and outdoor equipment. Then you want to come in and say, I want to target people that like the outdoor channel, or they like hunting and fishing, or those kinds of things. You can be super specific. And it even, if you can see over here, it tells you how many people that you're going to probably reach with that audience. So 1 is the most dangerous number, meaning don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't run all your ads on Facebook or TV or something. Diversify yourself, because you never know when, you know, Facebook could go down for a day or TV could go down for a day or something like that. Don't diversify. Make sure you diversify yourself. Lead capture is another thing that works super duper well on Facebook. Obviously, you can do it elsewhere too, but Facebook allows you to capture leads very specifically. So for this client, they wanted to grow their newsletter list because, again, you want to diversify yourself. You don't want to constantly have to be paying Facebook money to reach these people. If you get their email address, you pay Facebook to get their email address, the email address is then yours, and you can email them whenever you want for free. So for this client, again, we were trying to grow her email list. So the first time we ran ads, you can see the cost per lead is pretty high. So $10, $12, $14, $20, too high. But you can do split test. Anybody that knows me well knows that I'm obsessed with split test, because you can test a bunch of different audiences or graphics or whatever that might be against each other. And so we kept split testing, and we eventually found the audience that worked best for her audience, the income, the age range, the location, all of those things for her audience. And then we started split testing that audience with different creative. And we continuously did split test after split test and narrowed it down and down and down and got better. We went from $20 a lead to 85 cents a lead, which is something I'm super duper proud of. So you can now see the average cost per lead is only $1.63, but we actually, any ads that we've been running here recently are only 85 cents a lead. And so we paid 85 cents to get this person's email address, and then we can send them an email for free anytime we want. Lead nurturing system. So great, you have that lead. Now what do you do with it? This guy is the world's greatest salesman. Here's some stats. So he sold 13,001 cars, an average of 6 per day. On his best day, he sold 18 vehicles. Best month, 174. And in his best year, he sold 1,425 cars. That's a lot. That is a lot. So none of that was like bulk sales or anything like that. He did all of those individually. And if you're asking how he did that, he was nurturing his leads. So all of those leads that he got, so maybe somebody came, looked at a car, didn't purchase, for every single holiday, for their birthday, for Valentine's Day, Mardi Gras, if you're here in Louisiana, he sent them a card or sent them some kind of thing, an email, something to keep those people interested in nurturing those leads. So he may have sent Mike a card for 5 years, and when it was time for Mike to buy a car, he knew where he was going. He was going to this salesman, and that salesman was getting that purchase. So it's all about nurturing your leads. You know, you can't just, great, you know, in that example I used previously, you can get all these emails, but if you don't do anything with them, it's irrelevant. So make sure you nurture your leads, whether it's an email, it's a physical address, whatever that looks like, nurture those leads. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Technically, an email is free to send. And then converting those prospects into clients. So I am going to read some stats for you because I'm going to get it wrong if I try to go from the top of my head. There was a violinist who was playing in a subway in Washington, D.C. So here in Louisiana, you see street performers all the time in New Orleans, and people will throw some change in their guitar case or whatever that might look like. So this specific violinist, he made $37 as 1 hour, in 1 hour as a street performer in the subway in Washington, D.C. It's not, you know, that great of a living, but it's what he loves, so he did it. Well, interesting enough, this specific violinist is actually one of the best violinists in the world. Just the night before, he had played in Boston Symphony Hall, and it was a sold out performance, and the seats on average sold for $100 each. So, and a fun fact, his violin that he was playing with in the subway was worth $3.5 million. So it's all to say it's about perspective. So I could be coming to you right now with no makeup on in a ratty basement and showing you a terrible slideshow. I could be giving you the exact same information, but you probably wouldn't trust me as much as me showing you a slideshow that has been very thought through, and we're in front of our bookcase at Ugly Mug Marketing, which is super recognizable. It's all about perspective. So think about that. When you present yourself to your clients, make sure you're putting your best foot forward. Admit it, envision it, draw it, build it, live it, review it. So build what you want your frame to look like in regards to how you want to present yourself to your clients or prospects. Again, people buy with emotion and justify with logic. So though this webinar is free, you're more likely to watch it because hopefully it looks professional and it has good information. If it wasn't good information and it wasn't professionally done, even if it's exact same information, your emotions might say, not for me. World-class experience. So this guy I super duper love. His name is Ron Kaufman. We all watch his videos together as a team, and he has what's called the 6 levels of service. So the lowest level of service is criminal, and the highest level of service is unbelievable. And so what that means is if you go into McDonald's, you expect for them to get your order correct and it be semi-hot and semi on time, and you leave. That's expected, or maybe even basic. But when you go, here's a great example. I went one time to Chick-fil-A, and my cousin's son was in the hospital, and she wanted Chick-fil-A because she'd been at the hospital all day and she was exhausted. And so I was going to get her Chick-fil-A, and I ordered her meal, and I went in and got it, and I paid for it, and I was walking out the door. I mean, I was frazzled. My nephew was in the hospital, and well, I call him my nephew, my godson. And so whenever I went back, I ran back in there. I was like, oh my goodness, I was supposed to get a Dr. Pepper. I can wait in line. And the owner could tell that I was frazzled and was like, don't worry about it. He poured me a Dr. Pepper, handed it to me, didn't make me pay for it, and let me leave. That was so surprising, if not unbelievable, because he could tell that, it's just Dr. Pepper. It was only $1, but he knew that he wanted to help me and make a surprising. He didn't have to. He would be like, yeah, you didn't pay for it. Go stand in that line, get it, and everything else. And that would have been expected. I certainly didn't expect him to fix that Dr. Pepper for me. But how can you surprise or give unbelievable service to your clients? This is an example that Ron Kaufman talks about in his videos. So there is a taxi driver who I don't forget the details, but let's say he was staying, in New York for 2 weeks for this conference or whatever. And he hired this taxi driver to come get him every single morning at 8 a.m. Well, the day he was supposed to leave to catch his flight, he told the taxi driver, hey, can you please call me at 5 a.m. and make sure I'm awake? I'm really nervous. It's been a really long week and I'm scared I'm going to sleep through my alarm. So the taxi driver called at 5 a.m. He didn't answer. Called him again. He still didn't answer. So the taxi driver could be like, ain't my problem. That's fine. It is what it is. But that's not what the taxi driver did. The taxi driver got in his vehicle, drove over to Ron Kaufman's hotel and said, wake up. I will be downstairs waiting for you. Again, that's surprising. That's very unbelievable. He didn't have to do that, but he did. So again, there are 12 videos. This is a screenshot of one of them. He is hilarious. It's super duper good to watch. If you don't have the time to sit down on your computer and watch it, you can just play it while you're on the phone, while you're in the computer. You can play it while you're in the car. Don't, watch it. That would be dangerous while you're driving, but just listen to the audio. It's great. And you'll hear some super duper valuable information, and you will be entertained along the way for sure. So again, if you want a link to these videos, just drop your name, email, something below, or direct message us, and I'll make sure you get a link to that. Increase lifetime value. So these are other stats that I am going to read off to you. One second, let me grab them. Okay, so the profitability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%. So the example I like to use, we can go back to AirPods, is if Apple came out with a new product, they have to do very minimal advertising to convince me that it is a good product, that I want to purchase it. I'm going to buy it. But if it's a product, if it's a new company and they're trying to sell me a product, they're going to have to convince me. So, Apple, I have my Mac, I have my Apple Watch, I have my AirPods, I have my iPhone. I have so many Apple products, and I know them and I trust them, and they're very reliable. So it doesn't take much for them to get me to purchase something different. But to attract a new customer is a lot harder. It's 5 times as hard. So the probability of selling to an existing customer is 60 to 70%, while the probability of selling to a new prospect is just 5 to 20%. So shoot for getting your existing customers to purchase new products from you, because the likelihood of them doing that is very high because they already know you and they already trust you. So what % of your marketing budget is spent on attracting and keeping your your clients? So attracting would be for the new ones. Keeping, or people that are already your clients, you still need to market to them. You still need to provide them with surprising experience so that they still know and trust you and are an evangelist of yours. So there's 3 different ways you can do this. You can add on to a sell. So let's say that you are a pizza restaurant. So add on to a sell is you could say, hey, do you want to add a drink or something to that effect? Or maybe you want to add toppings to your pizza. So it's still the same product, but they're spending more money. An upsell would be, I'm getting those confused. Add on would be adding a drink. Upsell would be adding toppings to your pizza or maybe a different type of crust or something like that. And then cross-sell would be perhaps you have another location here in town and you're directing them to the other location that maybe sells something different. You are the same customers, the same owner, but you're cross-selling them with something else. And then orchestrating referrals. Be specific, ask for referrals. I know sometimes it can be awkward, but you can say, hey, I know you're friends with so-and-so and they look like they're in need of a new logo. Would you mind, offering a recommendation for us? Be specific and ask for those referrals. Give them tools, give them an email they can send, make it easy. Maybe you give them a little note card they can share with someone that might want to become one of our clients, or give them a form to fill out or something to that effect that makes it as easy as possible for them. So DoubleTree, if you've ever stayed there, they give you fresh, warm cookies when you get there. And so it's super easy for you to say, I stayed at the DoubleTree and their cookies were delicious, because it gives them something to talk about. It makes it easy for them to refer other people to their hotel. So again, think about that progression: stranger, friend, customer, evangelist. Think about how you're going to advertise to people in each of these target areas. Knowing and not doing is the same as not knowing. So you just listen to this whole presentation, you now know what to do. But if you don't do anything, it's the same as not knowing. So create an action step. Say, when I get off this webinar today, I'm going to fill out the customer avatar sheet, or I'm going to watch the Ron Kaufman videos, or I'm going to get a copy of this book. Reminder, comment below if you want to win a copy of this book. What are your action steps? Create a plan of action and do something about it. Again, I am Hanna Broom, and I am super happy that you all were here today. We are going to take some time now to answer some questions. So again, you can just comment below if you have any questions, and I am gonna see if Gina if there are any questions so far. All right, no questions so far. I'll stay on here for a few more minutes if you have any questions. I hope everybody has exciting July 4th plans. Okay, well, no questions so far, which is no worries. Maybe you don't know them right now, but if you do have any questions, you can comment below, direct message us, email us, whatever that might look like, and we will get back to you. Have a good one. See you later.